Do it for the Bronx. Keep them going. Keep them going. It's a war going on out there.
No man is safe.
No man is safe from.
You can run, but you can't hide.
You can't hide. Because it's a part of your everyday life when we talk about warfare. It's interesting. We have to be creative. We have to be strategic. We have to be calculating in how we fight to survive and preserve and to strive. We got to be mindful of everything in our environment, not just the justice system, Mike Muse. It can't just be that. It can't just be the education system. It can't be just that. It can't be just how they police us. It can't just be that. We have to talk about something we do every single day in order to survive, and that's eat.
Yeah.
We have to eat. Now, what is it that we're eating? You know, some people, I was growing up, the way I grew up, I was told that the poison is in the food. Are we even really eating food when we go to these grocery stores and buy these things in boxes and plastic, and they look good and they taste good and they got that color in them and all that different stuff? Is it really food? Well, we got these young men, this collective right here that has joined us. Let me read something, Mike Muse. Ghetto Gastro sits at the intersection of food, music, fashion, visual arts, and social activism.
Come on.
But they sit in the middle of medicine, too. They provide medicine for healing. When we talk about the trauma that's in our lives, when we talk about stress and anxiety, one way to counter that is through food. Mike Muse, am I mistaken, Mike Muse?
Not mistaken at all, man.
Okay. And so these very innovative, creative individuals came up with this concept called Ghetto Gastro. Big round of applause.
Yeah.
I remember, Mike Muse. You remember?
Yeah.
You was there in the beginning.
We were there in the beginning.
A1 since day one, baby.
Come on. We were right there.
That's a fact.
Meeting my man P right here. Chef P, give that man a big round of applause.
You. In the building.
Graduated from culinary school, the Italian Culinary Institute for Foreigners. Give that man a big round of applause.
Foreign things, you already.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Ciao
Prego, prego.
Ciao, Bella.
Heather, you remember Chopped on the Food Network? You remember that series Chopped?
It's still going.
My man Lester back in 2012, he took that down. Give him a big round of applause.
Book it.
Chop
Yeah.
champ.
Big W for the Bronx. You know the vibes.
The champ is here.
The champ is here. And then this young man right here truly is my brother. I used to say little brother. I don't say that no more, man. I'm his little brother.
Oh, man.
Come on, watching how this man has grown. I remember meeting him, and he presented me with some prototypes for some fashion he had created all on his own. And me going, damn, this guy is innovative. This guy has a lot of ideas. He started talking to me. We always had conversations about activism in the environment that we all grew up in, and how do we counter some of the pitfalls that we've had to face as young men growing into adult men. And I remember him telling me about a concept that they had called Ghetto Gastro, and us having real long, in-depth conversations about how to obtain the things that he was trying to obtain at the time. He had been very successful at all the things he had done, some above radar, some below radar. He ain't no different from any of us who grew up in these impoverished, if you will, disenfranchised environments. But what makes him special, man, is he took everything about that environment, everything he learned, and he transformed it into something that's truly unique in itself and special. I joke around, but we met in the Bronx, but I do bump into this guy everywhere I travel around the earth. And I always say travel is one of our best educators is through travel. So I'm supremely proud of this young man for what he has been able to do as he's a founder of Ghetto Gastro. I want to welcome him to the show, not just as my brother, but as a culinary innovator. The one and only John Gray is here, man. Stop playing with me, man. You better stop playing with me.
Thanks for having us, bro. It's an honor to be here.
Aww.
Shit, me and Pierre was just hanging out. He was cooking for me a couple of weeks ago, Pete.
Very rare.
That's a blessing. He hasn't even cooked for me in a minute.
Oh, well, damn, man.
It's a cold world.
It's a cold world. Let me ask you guys this. Let's get into it. First of all, they got the new book, Ghetto Gastro, Black Power Kitchen.
Beautiful.
John Gray, I'll start with you. Why was this book necessary to make?
Well, I think we've been in the game for 10 years, and we've kind of existed in an abstract form, and we wanted to really distill the essence of the medium of what we're about, and using food as a weapon and giving people the tools for success. So being a multidisciplinary collective, we wanted to bring the food into it, bring the activism into it, bring the visual arts, and just really give people the anthology. We call it the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Shout out to the Woo.
Wow. Okay. Pierre, is food killing us? Is it slowly killing us, the food we're buying in our grocery stores, in our bodegas, in our neighborhoods?
Yeah, I mean, we've known it for years. Dr. Africa wrote a book on nutriticide. It's really about how our community's been poisoned, over the years with the things that we consuming. And, for us, we want to bring awareness to those things and also teach our people that, we were eating differently before. And let's get back to some of those old ways with some of these new techniques and layer the flavor and make it delicious so that, you don't feel like you're missing out on anything and it's more inclusive like that.
What foods are poisoning us that you could identify?
Oh man, the commodities like wheat, soy, sugar, corn, when they overprocess those things, and it's easier to get your hands on, some candy and some soda than it is some fresh groceries, and for us, that's why we talk about food as a weapon.
Food as a weapon. Lester, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored. How
Come
you
on,
doing,
man.
brother?
Hey, man, I can't complain. Your goatee is shining, man. I ain't seen a goatee like that
Shining
since
like a
Ice
diamond,
Cube.
man. The whole mission is to glisten, man.
The whole,
Ooh, I like that.
And dodge prison, man.
but speak on that.
But look, man, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, man. Community builds immunity. You know what I'm saying? Ghetto Gastro and Black Power Kitchen. This is a book that's an amalgam of analogies and endless possibilities. So, what we bring into the game right here is just something to weave in the culture, the cuisine, taking in accountable calories, and highlighting conscious cuisine.
Highlighting conscious cuisine. Man, Ghetto Gastro is here. Give him a big round of applause. How did it, and I'm going to let everybody jump in, how did it go from an idea to a concrete movement? Because I remember when you guys start working with Nike and other corporations, but that didn't happen overnight. John Gray, what was the science, like the formula that made it happen?
It started really, really as, I was talking to Mike Muse earlier. We were the only black people in the West Village. He was my neighbor. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
And then he left me.
I had to take it back to the roots. But
Talk to the mic.
But we really started, hosting small parties at my apartment. Just like for the homies. Like Les was working at the Garden at the time. And we would host events. We'd invite a bunch of people. And cook, mostly honeys,
Yeah.
And then these people happen to be like marketing professionals, models, actors, entertainers, and then as the word started to trickle around, corporate entities wanted to understand what Ghetto Gastro was, so that's when we started working with the Nikes, the Apples, but it all started organically, and we did a party with Cardi B, where she was the dancer at the time, and it was called Waffles and Models. So after we did that party, New York Fashion Week 2013, we got the attention of the press, and then the international audience started to notice and be intrigued what this Ghetto Gastro thing was.
Waffles and
models.
Waffles and Models. You were at the Paris edition.
You remember that?
Man, I didn't say it. Man, you hear that? Did you hear that, y'all? I was
What
at
a
the Paris
setup.
edition. Thank you, John Gray. In case I didn't have to say it again, I was at the Paris edition.
Sway brought Anderson Paak to rock with some True Max.
That's right.
Oh my
We was
god.
making it pop at Le Consulat.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? C'est
All
soir,
of the
mademoiselle. I
Then,
said
and
that.
then we killed it with Cartier and Place Vendôme.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
So they did this party in Paris, and I was hanging out. Anderson was hanging out with me actually that night, and Adrian Miller, and then we decided to come through. Right? How did y'all learn the business of culinary? Because I felt like that, and Heather could probably speak to this too, because Heather is also taking culinary classes, and in my opinion, she's a certified chef. She won't take that, but in the business, how much discrimination have you come across, or have you guys been able to avoid that?
Well, I would say, we starting in restaurants, just speaking from that sort of experience, the discrimination is on like certain levels, right? It's kind of just like where you don't see people of color holding, managerial positions, sous chefs, executive chef roles like that. And the opportunities they're more few and far between. Where you don't really see as many people that look like you in the kitchen, it's kind of, at first it can be like a little disheartening, but you just got to move through that and, keep your head up and keep grinding, like as in any business. But when it comes to the actual business side of things, I feel like we've been able to create our own lane, and people who didn't understand Ghetto Gastro, who didn't get the concept and the idea at first, maybe necessarily it wasn't for them because it's not for everybody to get. But, we've been able to develop a voice in the space and be able to work with some really amazing brands where we've been able to now prove ourselves. And now we have this book here for the world to see what we've been up to for the past 10 years.
Black Power Kitchen. Les, you want to jump on that and I can close it out?
You know what they say, man. The past is history. The present is a present. But the future with restaurants, to me, is packed with feminine energy, man. And,
Speak to
you
that.
know, as far as race is concerned, we've been filling those gaps with Black Power Kitchen, with Ghetto Gastro, what we've been doing to encourage our brothers and sisters. But, what I really want to see is more feminine energy in these kitchens, man, and more, mothers touching the food and blessing the product and, getting us right.
My man, last.
Yeah, and it's circle back on the business part. And I'm gonna just say you had a big part of this in my life, Sway, because when I was doing what I was doing, I wasn't fully 100% focused on GG because I was doing well, I was excelling, and you told me like, look, you got to really focus on this thing if you want it to be what it's supposed to be. And I took that leap. And what I realized early on is that when we were doing like corporate gigs, for the amount of labor that we were doing, we weren't getting paid enough. And they called me the dishwasher. And I took that name because I was often going to fancy restaurants. You see them, they be playing like Nas Illmatic on the speakers. You look around the room, the dining room is no black people. You look in the kitchen, like P mentioned, it's not a lot of black folks except maybe the dishwasher or a busser, So now it's time for us to rinse their pockets. And because we were doing well in the streets, we had to for it to make sense. It had to be very, very valuable. Yeah. And I think often people equate monetary value with how they value people. So when you're looking at what people distinguish as fine cuisine, it's often from a Eurocentric gaze, right? So we wanted to turn that on its head and take the Pan-African pantry and really like, nah, this is top dollar. So you're going to value these cultures and value the ancestral knowledge, and you're going to pay with your pocketbook.
John Gray, let me comment to that too. And I remember that day because your car broke down.
Damn, son.
This he come a long way, but back then
We was trapping out the Buick.
I love it. And we were hanging out, and his car broke down, and we started talking, and that is something I remember us going over. But, man, you got all the talent in the world. Wait till you put 100% into this.
He planned that shit. He planned the car breaking down so he could bend your ear.
That's what it was, Les. But it amazed me that you did just that, and I think you all are a fine example to other men and people in our community of how you could transform yourself. So last time I was out in the Bay, John Gray and I hooked up, and we sat and had dinners a couple of weeks ago with some really amazing people. I believe that are actually featured in the book, right?
Yes, for sure.
You said something to me that stuck with me from there. We were kind of touching, and I'm going to paraphrase it, and maybe you remember. You said it's basically, you were saying, man, it's a trip who I am today, totally different to who I was yesterday, and it's almost like it's a new you, and you're living in a new lifetime now. You're totally different than who you were 10 to 15 years ago. Can you speak to that? I wanted to go deeper into it, but we were at a table with a lot of folks. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I think when I think about the multiple lives that we live within one lifetime, it's just like the state of evolution. I think at the core, the essence, I'm probably that same person. But when I was, what you call the underworld, when you were dabbling in that, you have to be ready to do things that aren't savory. Mm-hmm. And you have to wear a mask and become hardened and to survive it, and often that's just like the Black experience in America, whether you're doing illegal things or legal things, just to exist in this space. It's like we've been coming into this country has been a violent experience for us from day one. So often, and then so basically it's just me thinking about the things I was ready to do in life versus what I'm able to do now, and the privilege and just the modalities of thinking. So that's why I don't have too much judgment when I'm looking at the young drill rappers or, things that are happening, because oftentimes people their fuse gets cut before they could fully form a brain or evolve to become a person that can make sensible decisions and really understand what's going on around them.
John Gray. HB, jump in there. Come on, man. You want to
No,
join Ghetto
that's
Gastro?
dope. No, I know. I'm thinking about what you said about no judgment, because the last time I think I saw you, John, we were up at a party. We have a mutual friend, Jason Jackson, and we were up at his birthday party, and Jason asked just a few people to cook. And when Jason, I was like, yo, man, John Gray, I was like, I'm not that kind of chef. You know what I mean? I like to cook because I just love cooking and entertaining people at my house. I have an open door policy on Sundays at home. But the one thing I always noticed about you in particular, John, from being around you in different spots, that you have never been judgmental. Like everybody who made food that night, you were complimenting folks. You were happy to see people. And I think that's what it's really about. All the accomplishments that you guys are talking about today, you didn't walk in that room that way. You was just embrace the food, embrace who made this, who made that. And I never forgot that. That has stayed with me since last year, that when we did that party. So thank you for that. And so I think if so many more chefs, cooks, whatever people want to say, came in this or come in this with this embracing thing, I think people would have a lot more confidence. I think we would be more open to learning about other cuisines and ethnicities and different things. But I watched you in that room that night in that house, and it was a pleasure to see. Thank you for your energy that night.
It's all about that humble rumble, though, man. That's the motto we live by, man.
Humble rumble?
The humble rumble.
What is that,
I noticed it. I didn't know that's what y'all call
it. Underground, but never unnoticed, man.
Underground, but never. He used to chef at the Garden.
I used to chef at the Garden. I chefed at Mini Bar in D.C. I chefed at Jean Georges, Budokan.
11 Madison Park.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Tabla.
I'm not new to this, man. I'm true to this.
Talk your shit,
I've been doing this for a minute.
Yes.
But that's what's dope about it. It was, John, you were very embracing.
That's what's up.
Love is love. We break bread to build bridges. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ghetto Gastro, Black Power Kitchen, Mike Muse.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the conversation. Just John, just for a second, just give you your flowers, man. It's when I look at Ghetto Gastro, I look at you guys as a revolutionary act unto himself, just by showing up and being present, and just seeing John Gray in West Village, which is two black men, and he and I would comment on that all the time. But just to give context to the sense of what that meant, it was just you don't see us down there, and there's such isolation. There's such social classism, there's racism that exists, but to see he and I just walk around so freely with joy and happiness, for me, it was always a revolutionary act unto itself to see him and to be in brotherhood with him there. And then to see you guys fast forward in the gift bag of the governor's ball at the Oscars. When I was there, that felt something special for me, right? A sense of pride. And it was like, there is no other revolutionary act unto itself than the governor's ball to have your product, the waffle mix, placed in the gift bag. And so I'm just so proud of you. But you stuck on something. I want to open up to the group too, but you stuck on something in your comment about the way that white spaces use black corporateness in terms of making their culture cool, right? And the isolation that they don't allow us to be in those places and spaces. I'm still bothered by a individual who I won't name, but a notable black person who invested in a chicken and waffle space, right? And that just always has bothered me. That I'm like, you couldn't find any others to invest in. And for that founder then to say that he, as a white man, makes the best chicken and waffles in New York. New York has been missing the chicken and waffle place. And so that has stuck with me in my soul in terms of how that has bothered me. So how do you reconcile as a group this narrative? There can be this negative connotation around soul food, right? But I love how you guys say ancestral food. How do you reconcile promoting that, right, while still keeping true to our roots, by still elevating the culture through the food that we actually have culture with?
Well, we got this thing, we call it stealth health, and it's really about, sneaking the medicine in the Kool-Aid, per se, like with dishes like sea moss infused ice creams, and, we have a lot of plant-based. There's a lot of plant-based items in the book as well, in Black Power Kitchen as well. So we highlighting that plant-based life pretty heavy.
Yeah, and even with like the fly shit too, and like the storytelling is for us, it's just about like layering the flavors, and that's that's through the stories and through the actual food itself. So we serving up dishes like cornbread with caviar and crab salad on it, and we call that the triple C's. And for us, what that represents is the triple C's.
Shout out to triple C's.
Yes, indeed. But for us, what that represents is the cornbread is a collaboration between indigenous Americans and enslaved Africans.
Yes.
And that's the bread of America. Like that's our bread. And then when you think about how they refer to black people as crabs in a barrel, but we know that crabs don't belong in a barrel, so we put that on top of the cornbread, and then top that off with a little bit of caviar, which is like the pinnacle of European luxury. But it's actually not from Europe; it's from the Middle East.
And it's black.
And it's black.
Black at the top.
So it's,
and on the foundation.
Indeed. So it's really about the storytelling, the flavors, and all the opulence as well that comes with it. Because, like John was saying earlier, who's to say that our food isn't luxurious and that we shouldn't be able to charge a high price point to serve what we serve? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the age of value being extracted from our communities are over. Like, we've been creating value forever for other people, but now it's time for us to capture the value that we create.
Yes, indeed.
Ghetto Gastro.
Truly a revolution, y'all. And P, when you were just saying storytelling, like cuisine is a form of storytelling, and a lot of people have been using food to lie. In regards to some stories, just as you said, where caviar originally comes from and giving that authenticity. A lot of times when we have conversations around health and food, I feel like for decades it's been about our physical appearance. Let's start eating healthier. Let's go in this direction so that visually we're smaller, or maybe even if it's just like ability, so you have more energy. But food can also impact our mental health, as you guys know so well. Like, even as I was just finished sipping this juice right here that has ashwagandha, which is an herb, an adaptogen that can ease anxiety, And so can you guys speak a bit about how mental health and food go hand in hand, and some of those herbs, maybe some of those foods that can really just soothe someone's nervous system?
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in on a conversation of like the food and the mental, I mean, like, even just thinking about making sure that you drinking enough water so that you have enough oxygen flowing to your brain, so you can think clearly. Like, a lot of people have tendencies to drink juice and things like that when they're thirsty, but you actually need the water, because that's what's actually helping develop the oxygen in your body. And on top of that, different foods that we can eat. I mean, for mental health, one of my favorite things to do is mushrooms. It's becoming a lot more popular right now. Whether it's
talk about psychedelic mushrooms.
whether it's psilocybin in a little microdose, you know what I'm saying? Or you can do
baby bellas.
or you can do some lion's mane, some chaga, some reishi mushrooms and things like that.
Yes.
But those things are known and proven to help with our mental health, and without having to go the route of like big pharma and things like that, taking pills. So thinking about natural ways that we can put those things into our bodies. I know mushrooms, ashwagandha, we use maca, sea moss to get the essential minerals and
the
things like that.
The ancestors had the answers, and it's weird because like these things get co-opted, right, and whitewashed and sold back to us, right? So I shop at Erewhon when I'm in LA, so no shade. But like to see CMOS
Yeah.
in Erewhon, where we go to Brother Roy's
Yeah.
and the
Come
BX,
on,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? And the CMOS has been happening with the Rasta culture and the ITAL. We've been doing this,
Yeah.
you know? So the knowledge is there. I think it's just how do we make it palatable and interesting for the youth to grab? Because I'm not naive to think that if we drop like a boatload of watermelon, radishes, and kale in the hood that people are going to run to get it. It's like, how do we make sure these things that are nutritious are delicious for our palates and cater to what we think is delicious?
And
Everything in Black Power Kitchen too. All of that's in
Yeah.
It's
there.
all in the book.
Word.
It's all in the book.
When you mention like all the co-ops, and that also makes me think about the prices, because that can be intimidating for certain things, you know? Like if you go to Whole Foods right now, like the CMOS might make your brows hit the ceiling. Can you guys maybe shout out some stores that you know of, whether they are brick and mortars, whether they are online, where people can get like these great essential foods that would help them at like...
Let me see the book, because you got Brother Roy's in here, man.
We got Brother
Yep.
Roy's. We got Brother Roy's in there. You could definitely go to Pharmacy for Life, because you know Stiles P. He's got all.
Facts.
He's got all the remedies that you need as well. Who else? I mean, honestly, that's. And for me, I shop in the neighborhood. So like, if I need CMOS, I'm going up to the Bronx. I'm going to Brother Roy's, get the dry moss.
That's
and I
Green
go-
Garden Health.
Green
when you
Green
Google
Garden
it in the
Health.
And if
Bronx.
anybody is
You
in
got
Jersey,
Hims on Allerton in the Bronx.
anybody in Jersey, they ship as well. Check out the Herbal Tea House. Ask for Diane. She's the owner there. She's a herbalist. The Herbal Tea House in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Green Gardens Health Food is on 3543 White Plains Road. Ask for Vaughn or Adrian. When you
get you
get there,
right.
they'll get you
Well,
right.
hot
You can tell Sway and put it that address in a lot of Ubers. Yeah? I didn't even know the address like that. I just know how to get there. I just pull up. I'm like,
Yo, I go every week, man.
He's a human map quest.
Yo, you wonder why this skin look the way it do at this age? It's because of Brother Roy's. Damn
Give it
it.
up
You
for
know, my
Brother
insides is clean. We got Ghetto Gastro here. We're going to open up the phone lines, 888-742-3345. Let's celebrate these brothers. It's a revolution of food happening in the form of Ghetto Gastro presents Black Power Kitchen. Give us a call, Shade 45. Let's go. I believe the Bronx was designed to fail.
yeah.
That's John Gray from Ghetto Gastro. The new book is Ghetto Gastro, Black Power Kitchen. What do you mean by that?
Because our communities are intentionally deprived. You know, it's all systematic. From our education system, from our our diet, our just ways of thinking. Having an enslaved mentality. It's all systemic. So. It's really much. I don't like to say, impoverished neighborhoods. I like to say, intentionally deprived.
Intentionally deprived.
Or
Okay.
historically underestimated. I think with that TED Talk, I was really like keying into what I call design crimes, like looking at the Robert Moses and how, redlining, city planning, the placement of highways, the reason why parkways have low bridges so buses from neighborhoods of low income can't access green space or the beaches in New York City. So it was just really just like concentrating poverty when there was a lot of white flight in the Bronx. Like, because the Bronx, the Grand Concourse used to be like Fifth Avenue. It was designed after the Champs-Élysées in Paris. It's home to like per capita the most Art Deco architecture. So it was like designed for the wealthy, like this area. But, in the 70s, 60s, things started to change. Like black, brown people moved there and the white people left. And, a lot of it was due to that Robert Moses. So in our neighborhood, they were actually going to build a highway, but I think this woman's name, I don't want to butcher it, but it might have been Jane Addams or something. She wrote a book and she came up with this saying, "Not in my backyard." And it was a bunch of like upwardly mobile white people that were protesting about a highway going through the West Village, so we didn't have the chance to preserve our neighborhood. And my great-grandparents, they had a house literally maybe like 50 feet from where the blasting was happening. So they're like literally on the other side of the highway, like, and it just totally destroyed the neighborhood,
Wow.
And then you deal with the fossil fuel emissions, which cause asthma rates. Like Bronx is also home to the largest food distribution center of its kind in the world, but it's supplying food for the Northeast for other parts of the nation. But the neighborhoods like Hunts Point are dealing with the asthma rates from all of the fossil fuel emissions. And then you look at the food insecurity, or what we call food apartheid. We got that language from Karen Washington, is lack of access where you have the most food. You know, so it's a crazy thing, and that leads to the diabetes, the obesity, the other what they call pre-existing health conditions, right? That they're not pre-existence, is engineered, like Les mentioned.
Engineered.
And we know it's all by design.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the food to the way that they police our neighborhoods to, I mean, like they have, even just the way they have schools set up. I know we've been going to like a few schools lately, and you even just see the way that they have the hallways segregated, almost like lined like a prison, and how they have the children walk, and how they have the cafeterias and named like Gen Pop and stuff like that. So it's just like the indoctrination from like from early.
That ringing of that bell.
Shit.
Brrrring. Fall in line.
Wow.
Lunchtime. You only can eat during this time. You get 10 minutes. You got to get back to that room.
Mess hall.
Go back to that box.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right?
The school to prison pipeline is real.
Ghetto
Yeah.
Gastro is here, man. The book is called Black Power Kitchen.
Oh, Mike has something.
Mike was gonna say something.
Come on, Mike.
Uh-oh, here we go.
No.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just love the way that John just broke that down when it comes to that. And that's where a lot of the environmental activism come from. Just because climate change has been so whitewashed,
Yes.
it just seems as like it's this white entity focused on polar bears and plastic straws, where there has been dissension within the climate change community by not allowing these type of conversations to come to a head about the upper respiratory system, the asthma. That's really what John Gray is talking about. And for those of you who don't live in the Bronx, it's the same thing that's happening in Chicago, right? It's the same thing that's happening in Los Angeles, where you have these urban, dense center populations with highways going around them. You'll see that's where you have the highest propensity of asthma rates that is going up. That's
Cancer.
and cancer too as well. But the most thing that you can see in effect is the asthma, and it's because of the redlining in the district and eminent domain. All right, where they bring the highways. That's what John was just talking about too in the West Village, eminent domain, where a lot of black businesses actually got destroyed in restaurants. My grandfather's restaurant got destroyed because of eminent domain in Lansing, Michigan. I want to ask though, John, and the rest of you, when it comes to that was so well said. There's nothing to add on to that.
Dead ass.
I'm just curious about how are you guys doing this, or as, I think it's more rhetorical, right? What I'm noticing is that, you know, when I post, Heather posts, a lot of us post about some of the things that we're eating, right? That could be considered high end. There is this narrative out there that, you know, when I get comments on my Instagram, that it's not for us, right? Like it's other people's food, right? Like, what do you think caused that dynamic to make food seem so classist, to where black people feel like we can't participate and can't partake, right? And even going to like the 11 Madisons, obviously there is economic value when it comes to that, but to make us feel like we don't even belong in that space. Like, what do you think that was, and how can we combat that to get people just enjoy it?
Well, I think that is one thing. A couple things is how they used to try to box us out was like the price, because they didn't think that we would spend the money on the food. But then also it was also like the dress codes that they would have in the restaurants and stuff as well. If they really didn't want us in there, they would make sure that you have to have a certain attire, you have to have a suit, you have to do this. Sometimes they make getting reservations like a little bit more difficult, and you have to jump through hoops. But for us, you know, we kind of just kick those doors down, and honestly, we support our friends, we support those who support us. We go to different, we go to Michelin star restaurants all around the world. We sit in the world's #1 restaurant in the back in the wine cellar, you know, with our hoodies on, with our do-rags on.
Yes.
And just showing everybody that this is possible. It's not, we don't have to conform. We don't have to code switch. We don't have to change up to the dress codes. We can pull up, be who we are, be authentic to ourselves, and still get fed. But also, if those people don't want you in their restaurants, don't go to their restaurants. There's amazing black and brown chefs all around the country, all around the world. Like, let's go to their establishments and big them up and make them, you know, the Michelin star restaurants and the world's top restaurants, because that's what we need to see as well.
Yeah, I think the issue lies with, black people, we have a visual culture, right? Black, brown, all of these things, and you have to create desire in order for people to want it. But I think sometimes our desire is misplaced, and we think that something white is right? So just because it's a white chef or it's expensive and it's, it has the accolades from all of these Eurocentric views, like it might not be for us. So we just got to go to what's for us or create that. So that's what we're really doing with this, like taking the knowledge that we've learned from working in those establishments, going to them, but also bringing the reference points from our childhood, like the vernacular, the spirit of it, because we truly never felt like there was a space for us, so we had to create it.
Ghetto Gastro's here. We got some callers.
And we call that do-rag diplomacy. Man.
Do-rag.
That's right, Lex.
Yo, we got to get the Ghetto Gastro.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, that's the book. Book of Ghetto Gastro.
That's chapter 2.
The Ghetto Glossary's coming soon. You heard?
That's called the Slictionary.
The Slictionary?
Yeah.
Slick talk.
Diplomatic immunity, man.
Diplomatic. I love it, man. We got, let's go to Texas. L.O. is on is it L-O or L-O?
It's L-O, like the letter L, the letter O. Good morning.
Well,
Nice.
Rise
Low,
and shine.
Shorty Low is good.
Hey,
Hello,
wait, hold
hello.
up. You going to get the book, Ghetto Gastro Black Power Kitchen?
100% I'm going to get that book. So what's
Okay.
crazy is I'm on my way into work, so I caught the show kind of late, but I was intrigued from the moment that I heard the conversation, man. I had to dial in.
That's love.
We'll be in Texas in November in Houston. We pulling up on a
H-Town.
tour, powered by Discord. You know the vibe.
Okay, bet. I'm just down the road in San Antonio, man. I'll follow y'all and make sure that I go to that event as well.
Pull up and get some of that syrup, man. That natural syrup, man. That Sovereign syrup. We ain't talking about that codeine.
That's a fact. Hey, I'm gonna ask a selfish question real quick since I got the platform. I DJ, man. Do y'all need a DJ for that event?
Oh, damn. That's not even on us.
Anything's possible. I don't know. I don't think so. But just pull up and bring a mix and let's just vibe. Who knows what can happen?
We get you on that
possible.
aux. We get you on that aux, maybe, man.
Okay, on that aux. Hey, follow them at
That's
Ghetto
love.
Gastro. Ghetto Gastro, GhettoGastro. Follow them, okay?
Yes, sir. We'll do. So I'm gonna shoot my. Go ahead, Sway. My bad.
No, well, Barnes and Nobles, in case you didn't know, named it the best cookbook of 2022.
That's
so
right.
I'm really trying to give you a solid, citizens.
Top two, but we not number 2.
Okay, they've named the best cookbook of fall 2022 by Food and Wine,
Huge.
Forbes,
Huge.
Publishers Weekly,
Bing bong.
The Takeout.
Damn.
Numbers
and more.
don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
Damn.
I like to say
That's
it's $10
love,
million
man. That's-
worth of game in the book, 40 bash, you know.
There it is. Get that.
The game
LO.
is to be sold, not told, but we got it for the low.
You a citizen, LO. Okay.
Yes.
We got
All
it for
right,
the
get
low.
outta here.
We got it for the LO.
Go get that book,
For the
LO.
hello.
Seattle. We got Thomas on the line all the way in Seattle. What up, Thomas? T,
What up,
what's
Tommy?
popping?
Oh, nothing much. How you guys doing this morning?
Blessed and highly favored. Peace.
What up, what up?
Yeah, the question I have is, when you buy the sea moss, how do you know that you have good sea moss or bad sea moss?
I would cop organic if I was you, first and foremost. And
Organic?
I invest personally in purple sea moss as well.
Yeah, you want to get the wild harvest stuff. I would recommend wild harvest, like Les said, anything with color to it. Purples, reds, oranges, things like that, because then you know that they haven't been cleaned or bleached and the nutrients haven't been removed.
Game.
There you go, Thomas.
And also, you in Seattle,
watch
we
it,
gonna be in
goddammit.
Portland.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead.
We gonna be in Portland, November 5th.
When?
So you want to drive down from Seattle? I know it ain't a long trip. Pull up on us. November 5th, we'll be there for
Oh.
the Portland Book
Yeah,
Festival.
I can get I drive a truck for a living. I can get a load that way. All right.
Thomas, you gonna get the book?
Yeah, I already sent my wife to go to Barnes and Noble since you said it. I texted to her.
There you go.
Tell her cop 3, man, for the Steve.
Yeah, man. Christmas is
Oh,
coming
yeah, I
up,
can give it something to my
Kwanzaa
family.
or Hanukkah, whatever
Yeah,
you celebrate.
dishes for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, hook them up with hey, this is a perfect holiday book.
That's a
Perfect
fact.
holiday book. No genocidal holidays, though.
There it is. No genocidal holidays. You're right. Good point. Whatever you celebrate. Get a
Kwanzaa.
Ghetto Gastro Black Power
Yeah.
Kitchen book. All right.
Yeah. Thank you guys for what
All
you
right.
do. Thank you.
Thank
You a
you.
citizen,
Have a
man.
good
No
one.
genocidal holidays.
Bye.
Don't even celebrate. What's that one?
Not Thanksgiving.
Valentine's Day. Yeah, we ain't even doing. We definitely not doing trick or
It's a
treat.
lot of murders on Valentine's Day.
Man, somebody offered me a lot of money to host something for a Halloween party.
That sounds spooky.
Man,
It's spooky season.
it spooked them when I said no. I can tell you that. All right, let's go to Detroit. Madison, Detroit. What up, man?
Gee, what up, though?
What up, though?
What up? This is Chef
Hi.
Max, man. Just want to check in with you guys, man. Want to see if anytime you guys come into Detroit, would love to host you guys. I have a few restaurants here, and we can do a, joint collab, book signing, and anything like that. We have an urban farm here as well. So anytime you guys come to Detroit, we'd love to host you guys.
No doubt. Where you at, Dearborn?
No, I'm downtown Detroit, so I have one restaurant in Detroit Shipping Company, and then 2 on the east side and 1 on the west side. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
What's
so
your
we're in
name,
Houston
brother?
market. Chef Max Hardy.
Oh, Max Hardy. I seen you. I seen your work before, man. Thanks for calling in, yo. Big fans.
Absolutely.
Big fans,
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate
Chef
you.
Max, good to hear from you, man.
Hey, Max, I wrote down this 305 number. That's your number?
That's my number.
I'm going to give it to John Gray. So if they go to Detroit, they can hit you up directly, right? You get the book, though?
Absolutely. I got it a while back, so
Okay.
love to, do a joint collab, anything with you guys.
All right,
Gratitude.
there it is. We could. I got
I
the
will
info.
turn up in the D. It's so cold in the D, so we're going to come through and bring that heat. You heard?
Okay.
Cold in the D right now. It's 40 degrees and raining, so yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, all right. Wonderful environment. You're a citizen, brother.
all right. What up, Chef?
I'm going to take one more call. Hey, we're going to Cali. Yo, go ahead, Cali. We got Yo on the line. Yo, what it do, Yo?
Yo.
He can't mess with my Yo-Yo.
Yo, you remember me? Is this really Yo?
Yeah.
Yo.
Not that yo-yo. This just yo. I'm not a yo-yo. I'm just.
Oh, okay. My bad. Ain't the same, though. What was you going to say, though, Les?
Nah, because back in the day I did a song with Ice Cube, and it's on America's Most Wanted. It's called Gangsta's Fairy Tale. I was like 9 years old. I did it, and when we did shows at the Apollo, Yo was there, man. You know what I'm saying? I was in her ear, on her lap, talking in her ear like a real Mac, man.
At 9, bro?
Oh yeah.
Early and often.
Yo, it's funny that I referenced
Upward and
Ice Cube.
onward, man.
You look like I said. You look like Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted, and that's you was on the album.
He put him on. Ice Cube put him onto the beard oil early and often.
Oh my God,
Damn.
yo, y'all cracked me
Okay,
up.
let's get to the recipe.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question, Yo? My bad. What's your question?
Okay, so my question is, I love to cook, and every time I buy a chicken or a turkey, I save the gizzards and everything to make my stock for my jambalaya, gumbo, whatever I'm cooking. I like my own stock because that canned stock has too much sodium in it. And as black folks, we got to watch our pressure, our blood pressure and everything. So what kind of recipe can you give me to use with all the extras from the chickens and the turkeys? I need something else to do with it. What can you tell me to do with it?
I got an idea for you. I got one better for you, Yo. You know the juice that comes after your braised collard greens, right? We call that pot liquor.
Right.
We call that pot
Okay.
liquor. It's super dense with nutrients and vitamins. And it's one of those things that you can save, strain your greens, save that, and you could use that as a wonderful stock too. You could cook that down, turn that into a au jus, or an amazing vegetable stock using kombu for umami, with a little bit of tomato paste, and you could get busy like that to avoid having to use meat-based stocks and what have you.
Well, absolutely. I like that.
And that's a free gem, but you got to cop that Black Power Kitchen for the rest.
Okay. All right, you got that, Yo? All right, Yo, you a citizen, Yo. All right, go ahead. Jay in New Jersey, you a citizen. D in North Carolina, you a citizen. Get that book. Recently, P, I was on your Instagram. I think it was your Instagram, and I saw you standing next to Michelle Obama.
You see that? Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
What was going on, man? That's what was Ghetto Gastro doing with Michelle Obama?
Well, Michelle called me and she was like, "Yo, P, we really want to get together with the kids and okay.
Yeah, I was like, what?
We were celebrating the launch of Waffles and Mochi. She's the host and the narrator on the show.
Okay.
And in the show, it's a children's show. I was able to bring my daughter Sage up there with me. She got to meet Flotus and yeah, we just shared a moment, little moment with the children.
She loves the book.
Break bread with Flotus. She loves the book. She has her copy.
Okay.
And that the rest is history. But it was a really amazing experience to be able to be a part of that for sure.
Absolutely. John Gray, last time we hung out and ate, you told me that I was looking at a picture in the book. You said, "Oh, that's the picture I sent Jay-Z." Can you talk about your relationship with Jay-Z?
Well, we met at a restaurant and we did some stuff for the Monogram campaign back in the day. So I think that's how the connection started. And we were in the restaurant and noticed each other, showed love. I shot him some things to order. He hit me like, "Yo." At first, I was thought he was a rookie because the Spot Horses, they have this amazing tiramisu. And I was like, "Yo, I think this is the best tiramisu I had in my life." He was like, "That phrase made me a little question your knowledge." But then after he had it, he was like, "It was incredible." So
I think
yeah.
Beyonce was cutting her eye his way originally.
Yeah,
The palette is valid.
The palette is valid.
The palette is valid.
The palette is valid.
Shout out to Beyonce.
I love. Less off the. You introduced me to some people who are featured in this book. Can you talk about some of the featured artists that are alongside this book as well?
Oh yeah, we got Toyin Ajit Odotula, Lynette Yudambioke. I don't, and those are good friends of mine, so I hope I'm not butchering their last name.
Omawako's in there.
Amawako. We got Chase Hall.
Kerry James Marshall.
Alvin Armstrong.
We got Wangechi Mutu. Giants. Like, these are giants that don't say no, that don't say yes to a lot. So
Aya Brown.
for them to be featured and to be a part of this project, it just means so much. Boney Ramirez,
Renell Madrano, Tyler Mitchell.
And these are all
Joshua
people
Woods,
who,
like Naquan Schuler.
for people who don't know what they do.
These are all artists that work across different disciplines, different mediums. So whether it's photography or figurative art, abstract art, we have a bit of everything in here.
Sculpting.
Amazing storytelling done by Osai Enderlin. She helped us co-write the book. Can't say Black Power Kitchen without Osai, because she really helped us distill, our philosophies in the past 10 years of our company into words that everybody could digest. So, shout out to Osai. Shout out to Artisan.
And our homie Joshua Woods from Harlem, he shot all the lifestyle photography. He was at that Paris joint.
Yeah.
And then we got Naquan Schuler. He shot the food. New studio, designed the book. And visuals are so important in our language because, let's be real, everybody doesn't read. So sometimes you got to grab them with the visual and pull them in that way. So we wanted to make sure it was striking and it was poignant.
And it was really important for us to not only nourish your stomach, but nourish your mind, body, and your soul. So it was really important for us to highlight artists of color in our neighborhood. Sculptors of different multidisciplinary modes, and it's really about nourishing the mind, body, and soul, really, with Black Power Kitchen.
It's food for thought. You do the dishes.
You do the dishes. We also even have to add a little bit more razzle dazzle on there for anybody who's really paying attention. We have the foreword is written by Dr. Jessica B. Harris, the culinary historian. We've got We have an actual Black Panther in the book. Emory Douglas,
the Minister of Culture.
Minister of Culture for the Black Panthers.
Wow.
We have ASAP Ferg, Miss Thelma Golden, Kimberly Drew. Interviews from
Theaster Gates.
Really diving into different areas. We also have Dream Hampton in the book as well. Wow. So
Come on, Dream Hampton.
What up, though?
All the giants are in here talking stories of global blackness, and it's a lot of black joy as well. We're not selling trauma in here.
Good point.
Listen.
I love it, man. Let's close
Excellence,
on that note. There
opulence.
you go. Big round of applause. Ghetto Gastro, Black Power Kitchen. Come
We
on,
on a
man.
mission.
Yo.
Thanks for having us.
We on a mission to deliver nutrition to your kitchen.
Love you, man. Give it up for Lester. Lester Walker.
Thank you. Yeah, Lester Walker.
Pierre Serrao.
Pierre Serrao.
Pierre
Yes, sir.
Serrao. John Gray.
You already know.
Ghetto Gastro. Ghetto Gastro. Ghetto Gastro.
They
Black
said
Power
effectively.
Kitchen.
Ghetto Gastro.
Let's get it.
Let's
Black
go.
Power Kitchen. Black Power
Nah,
Kitchen.
There
y'all
you
so
go.
effectively sold the hell out of Black Power Kitchen citizens. If you don't cop this, you a bum.
The Tracy, how can they reach you?
Don't be
Twitter,
a bum.
Instagram at It's Tracy G ITSTRACYG.
Heather B.
I'm at the happy hour, WHB.
Headed to Urban View. Make sure you listen to her on channel 126. Mike Muse.
Yo, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at I am Mike Muse, MUSNSAME.
Ghetto Gastro got me a gift, y'all.
Brought you. You know how we do with that
Yo, Ty,
1942.
you ready? You know what is this I got, man? What is
Little
this?
1942. We got a recipe in a book called Red Drink, highlighting hibiscus, tapping back into the West African roots, but it goes nice with some of that Oaxaca Flaca, a.k.a. Don Julio 1942 tequila.
You did. And we talking about retoxing and detoxing.
It's a balance.
It's about balance.
Have a
baby.
good time. Enjoy
Thank you,
yourself.
thank
Drink
you, thank you.
responsibly.
Holla at me at Chef P. You
Okay.
did.
At Chef P. Lester.
At Chef Lester Walker.
Okay.
And I'm at Ghetto Gray. Ghetto Gray.
How you spell
Have
Gray?
a nice day. Gray.
There it is, man. Gentlemen, I'm proud of you. Let's do more. Let's do more. We in this. We living our best lives. It's a wonderful time to be alive right now.
It's
You
beautiful.
guys are living, walking, existing revolution happening in real time. I appreciate you, this book, and even just your presence, your mission. it's a gift to us as a people. So thank you, Ghetto Gastro. I'm so happy to be an honorary member. I can't wait to get my Ghetto Gastro jacket.
We just preheating. We just preheating the oven too. This is just the
It's
beginning.
preheat. I can't wait till they get the Ghetto Gastro chains. I know I'm getting one.
We waiting on those. We waiting on those.
I'm waiting, baby. Let's get a ring like the Warriors got last night.
We need
Ghetto
some
Gastro.
real big rings.
We need some really big
Big rings. All right. On that note, I'm at Real Sway across the board. You can see all these interviews on Sway's Universe. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel. And Mike Muse, how can they reach you?
I gave it out.
Oh, you did? And on that note,
And by the way, I don't care what Ye was talking about, Sway. You got all the answers, man.
hey, Les,
Sway
thank
knows.
you.
Sway
Les,
knows.
Come on, Les. You knew that a long time ago. Appreciate you.
Knowledge is power, my people.
Okay. On that note, we have nothing
Bing bong.
left to say.